Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Low on Health Rambling where I kind of go over what I've been doing the last past week or so. Today is Sunday, July 4th, 2010. It's around 10 p.m. Happy 4th of July to those people out there. If you hear in the background every now and then there's fireworks going off in the neighborhood. It was raining this weekend, so I was kind of hoping it would die them down, but people buy their fireworks, so if they all just don't happen on the 4th of July, they'll happen throughout the week, so you can never really win. But they've been kind of tame so far, and it's been kind of wet. So the good news is there shouldn't be any fires started. So, yay. As always, I'm doing nothing for the 4th of July. I'm relaxing. I did treat myself to a DiGiorno pizza. That's how sad my life is. Yes, I basically bought a DiGiorno pizza when I went out shopping today because they were on sale and I was kind of craving one. In which case I made it kind of for lunch and have been eating it throughout the day, and there's still like 2 pieces left. So just to show how much I physically cannot eat any more of that pizza. It's good and I love it, but it's like 6 pieces have got me through a day of a DiGiorno pizza, which is just really interesting. Don't know if it's a health issue I should look into, but yeah, whatever. I do want to kind of touch up on some things I did throughout the week. Of course, Sunday I went to that Bishop's D&D thing that was a week ago. And then Monday, actually, a bunch of us were going to get together, and I mentioned before Trent, who is on the Xbox Live, not Trent, I'm sorry, Trent's brother Dax, who we met over Xbox Live, was in town. He's taking the family up to Disney and whatnot on vacation, and he's one of Darren's old friends. Darren has the thing out for all us meet together in Wesley Chapel, and have a little dinner with him, which I was all for. Actually, I was basically 2 days in a row doing something out of the kindness of my heart. I don't know how to say it. Darren had mentioned, is this the farthest you've gone for no real good reason? I'm like, kind of. I don't know if it shows I'm being a nicer person, but anyway. So we went to this kind of roadhouse place. It was really weird. Actually, on the way there, I took 54, basically right up to like 275 or 75, wherever it was. But on the way there, the rain was crazy. It was possibly the worst weather I've driven in over 5 years. It was just crazy, classic Florida driving. Basically, the afternoon showers. But it was like crazy. People were going like 25, 30 miles per hour. I wasn't going to pull over because I'm not that much of a pansy, but it was just really crazy weather where, like, I knew there was a car in front of me. They had their lights on, and I could not see them. But we got there, and unfortunately, because of the rain and other things, actually, myself and Darren were the only people that show up. Other people who were trying to make it got kind of logged down, and the weather kind of really wasn't, in their interest to come up 275 because it was just crazy. But anyway, this place was really interesting. It was basically like, your Roadhouse Steakhouse, but it was apparently kids' night, and they kind of go out of the way where they actually have, like, the hostess and the waiters and everything, they kind of every now and then do this line dance thing around, which was kind of funny. They also had, of course, the crazy crap everywhere and whatnot. And they also had a guy doing animal balloons, which was interesting. And Dax had his little daughter come along, and she actually had an animal balloon. It was just really weird to see a place differentiate themselves that much to maybe kind of get, business there. And it was packed. It was really interesting. And I wasn't originally going to get anything to eat there. I was just going to mooch off the bread, but I felt kind of bad. They didn't have Dr. Pepper, they had Mr. Pibb, that's why I didn't leave that big of a tip. But I got a meal there, and of course I just ate the fries and had the sandwich for like Tuesday and Wednesday. So that basically was my dinner for 3 days. Once again, because I'm that sad. But other than that, the week was kind of interesting. Work is work. I've been doing some new things, like I mentioned before, being a little bit challenging and just kind of getting used to it. Nothing really new to report there. And of course I have this Monday off because of today we have 4th of July off. So yay! But let me just go ahead and move on to what I've been watching recently, and I'll get to what I've been gaming when I get to my gaming stuff in a second here. But I do want to mention, of course, IT Crowd has started up again, in which case the 4th season has started. This is a scene from whatever. But the 2nd episode of the 4th season has come out, and it's great. I mean, if you know the IT Crowd, catch them now. The episodes are out. They even have a flash game off of BBC Channel 4. And it's just still great. It's classic IT Crowd. It's awesome. If you haven't heard of it, it's great. I love it. It's right up my alley. It's BBC. And a lot of people equate it to the Big Bang Theory, which I will not watch or ever watch because I'm not a big of a fan of American stuff. But I love the IT Crowd, and I'm definitely loving this season. I'm happy to see it hasn't gone downhill. But most BBC shows don't, because they only do like 6 to 12 episodes a season. They don't really draw out of kind of material quickly. Moving on here, I also want to mention I watched this movie, which has been in the back of mind for a long time. For those of you who nobody knew me that watches this from high school days. Is it coming? There it is. Basically, a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Basically, back in my high school days, I took Latin, and I was Latin Club president for like 2 or 3 years. That's mainly not because I was good at Latin, but mainly it was a popularity contest, in which case I was that popular, but keep in mind it was the small Latin crowd that I was popular in. we actually had a float. We did activities and stuff, went to conventions and states and all that stuff. But anyway, the teacher always mentioned like a funny thing happened on the way to the forum as like kind of just a background joke. It's a good period, not a period piece, but it kind of shows you just how like Rome kind of was. Of course, it's a satire. But so I finally watched it after like all this time, over 10 years of hearing about it. And it's always funny because I always forget, just like before, I've tried to think of the other classic movie that I watched recently that was kind of an old movie, and I always forget these older movies had that type of humor. They had that type of sharp wit back in the 60s and 70s and whatnot, and I keep forgetting that, and it's nice to always refreshing to kind of see these. Really a great movie. I definitely recommend it to anybody who likes old classic films. It makes me think I should probably go watch Blazing Saddles again, which I cannot honestly remember for the life of me off the top of my head. But anywho, moving on here, I also started watching anime-wise Angel Beats. I was trying to get into Fate Stay Night, but I haven't been able to get to it. But Angel Beats has become recommended to me, and it's high def, and it's cool, and I like it because it kind of deals with the afterlife and people having kind of like shoddy lives, and then kind of not necessarily making up for them, but finding meaning and whatnot. It almost kind of gives me a Welcome to NHK type of vibe. It's just, I don't know, I like these type of shows where it's kind of depressing, kind of despairing, but it's really interesting because they can't die. So it's nice that they can kind of do the manga-ish stuff where they get knocked out or cut up or whatnot, and they get revived quickly. But it's very interesting. It definitely has a higher kind of tone to it from its kind of comedic side. And I'm really enjoying it. I started watching it earlier today, and I've plowed through 6 episodes, and I'm really enjoying it. I definitely recommend it to people. Kind of has a little bit of something for everybody to an extent, and I just kind of like it because of its darkness. Then moving on here, of course, I'm going to touch on Gamefly, which, of course, they have shipped me 99 Nights, in which case I gave that game about 4 hours, and then kind of stopped playing it. The first one I played through a lot. The problem with this one is I got to a point where basically there are very, very poor checkpoint systems, in which case you can go a full mission without checkpoints being initiated, or when you think they do, they don't, and then you'll just die out of a mishap or something, and you're out 15 to 20 minutes. You don't get to keep your orbs, you don't get like half your orbs or experience, you're just out that. And honestly, no. I do not play that game. I hate wasted time, and I can see that happening a lot in this game. I actually there's 5 different characters, and I got like 3 of them to do the same kind of fortress where there's this poison stuff. And if they knock you off a bridge into the poison stuff, you're pretty much dead. Even if you try to avoid it, it slowly eats away your HP and you're screwed. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to waste my time with that. So I gave it 4 hours, like, no problem. I see what it was doing. I don't know why I could play for the first one more, but I do like that it's hack and slash. I like the Dynasty War aesthetic, but I'm sick of doing feudal Japan or feudal China. That's why I like the Dynasty War Gundam game, the Mushu games. I like those a lot. But that's a whole different thing. I like the fantasy vibe, using magic and spells on this. But just from a design standpoint, no checkpoints is really, really bad. And then, of course, Crackdown 2 is going to be coming out next 2 days, which me and Jeff are actually looking forward to playing. And I'm going to zoom out now. Zoom out. Actually, I was mentioning Crackdown. Jeff had actually mentioned earlier this week he wanted to do Grand Theft Auto, and we played that the other night, which was interesting to play Grand Theft Auto 4 and just kind of screw around and realizing that, man, I really don't like the gameplay mechanic in it. Like, the controls are really cumbersome, much like Red Dead and whatnot. But it was interesting. As we were playing, we just kind of had an open session going. Half a dozen people kept coming in and out of our session, which was interesting to see that many people still actively playing Grand Theft Auto. But other games I've been playing recently, I'm working on a bunch of reviews for stuff, in which case I'm doing a new format for my game reviews, which case I think I'm just going to bullet note them. I'm not going to actually kind of 5-paragraph composition them anymore because I'm not going to bother wasting that much time in it. But basically, Singularity for the PC I played recently and beat. It was kind of your classic just run-of-the-mill first-person shooter. Reminded me a lot of the Wolfenstein PC game that came out, or shooter game that came out a year or 2 ago. But interesting. I mean, Russians are the bad guys and deals with time and temporal stuff, cool abilities, decent weapons. It was a fun little game to play through. And then another game I played through recently was Transformers for the PC, the new War of Cybertron, in which case that game is very, very good. I really much enjoyed that game, and if you have a chance to play it, definitely play the Transformers game. It's not as good it's not as good as other property games like Batman was, or what was the other one I was comparing to? Ghostbusters. It's not as good as those, but it's still a really good Transformer game, and I really recommend it to people. It's a really good game. Play the Transformers game. And then, of course, I'm also playing Toy Story 3 on the PC, in which case that's actually very fun and interesting. I'm still kind of meandering through it, but it's turned out really good. And actually, as a side note real quick, since I still have it here. Sorry to go off. Transformers, the movie. This is the DVD remake. After playing the game, I was like, you know what? I should probably watch the movie. So I watched the movie recently, in which case, wow. It looks, they cleaned it up and everything, but man, animation, styles over times, and technology and whatnot, wow. still a good little movie to go back. This thing has a bunch of supplemental data, and actually there was a lenticular cover that's been on my fridge forever. But really cool. I'm debating on going back because there's like a fan commentary, a director commentary, and like a pop-up commentary, a bunch of stuff. So I don't know if I'll get to that. But Transformers, the game, very good, and the movie's still good. The anime movie definitely better than the newer stuff. Anyway, moving on. What else we got going on here? Not much. So I'm just gonna pull the game out of my collection and talk about it real quick, which is going to be Freestyle Street Soccer. This is a decent little game. Don't remember much about it. Whatever. But other than that, really not much going on here. Hoping to play Crackdown coming up soon, and just relaxing, kind of sitting back. It's been raining a lot recently here. We still have to do yard work soon, but I keep waiting and putting it off so the grass just gets taller because I'm not going to mow it and then have to mow it again anytime soon. But anywho, as always, thank you all for watching and commenting, and I will catch you next time.